My unexpected encounter with my stepson's best friend left me speechless. Before we begin the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss more incredible stories every day. I pushed Noah's bedroom door with my hip, balancing a basket of laundry and a tired Sunday headache. It was 11:06 p.m., the hour when the house usually surrendered to silence, when the dog sighed in his sleep and the fridge hummed like a lullaby. The boys, Noah and his best friend Eli, were supposed to be at the late movie. The room should have been empty. Mrs. Hale, wait. A shadow uncoiled from the corner, and my heart ricocheted against my ribs. Eli stepped into the sliver of hallway light, palms raised, eyes wide. He was 20, all sharp cheekbones and that soft, careful politeness he wore like a sweater. Only tonight there was a split on his lower lip, a thin, angry line. Please don't scream. The basket slid to the carpet with a dull thud. Lemon detergent bloomed in the air. Eli? Where's Noah? Why are you? What happened to your mouth? He glanced at the window, then at me, like he was deciding which would shatter first. The blue glow from Noah's monitor washed his face in aquarium light. He's not here. I needed to talk to you, alone. Every part of me rebelled. You don't want secrets in the quiet part of the night. Secrets belong to noisy afternoons where you can mishear them. If this is about a party, if he's drinking again, it's not that. Eli swallowed, Adam's apple jerking. He reached into the pocket of his hoodie and pulled out a cracked phone I didn't recognize. Not Noah's. Not mine. Please just listen. I should have called my husband. I should have asked Eli to wait until morning, or until whatever was trembling in his hands hardened into something I could name. Instead, I sat on the edge of Noah's unmade bed, clutching a balled-up t-shirt like a talisman. Eli stayed standing, as if sitting would make it harder to run. You know I've been around since freshman year, he said, voice low. I've watched your family longer than anyone except you. I've seen things. Things I can't unsee. Eli. His name tasted like worry. Is Noah in trouble? He breathed out, shaky. Not the way you think. He lifted his chin, and the boy I'd known looked suddenly older, tired, cornered. I'm not just his best friend. I'm his boyfriend. We've been together for a year. The floor tilted. The framed camp photo on Noah's desk, two boys with sunburned shoulders, rearranged itself in my memory. The inside jokes. The way they drifted to the edge of every party together. My mouth opened, closed. Not disapproval. Not anger. Just the shock of realizing the truth had been in my house, patiently waiting for me to notice. I'm not here because of that. Eli rushed on, mistaking my silence. I'm here because someone found out, and they want it erased. Who? I whispered, though I already knew whose shadow ran through this house like wiring. Eli's eyes shimmered, then hardened. Your husband. He unlocked the cracked phone with a thumbprint and held it out. Threaded messages glowed like fused wire, names I recognized, words I didn't want to. Keep the boy in line. Keep your mouth shut. This ends before it spreads. My stomach lurched. Eli's voice dropped to a rasp. He cornered me tonight. Said there are two ways this goes, and both are ugly if I don't cooperate. The house listened with us. The dog. The fridge. The careful dark. Eli's hands shook so hard the blue light jittered across the walls like water. Then he whispered, Your husband made me choose who gets hurt first. Choose who gets hurt first. The words sat between us like a blade. My mouth tasted like pennies. What does that even mean, Eli? He sank into Noah's desk chair as if his bones had turned to air. Up close, the split on his lip looked raw, a diagonal crescent. Mr. Hale, Mark, caught me behind the rec center. Said he'd clean up the confusion before it spread. Option 1. I break up with Noah tonight, make it ugly, send texts that make me the problem, and then disappear. Option 2. He sends screenshots to Noah's coach and the dean. Says we were dealing at practice. Says Noah followed me into the locker room. He said he has friends who believe him on sight. The room lurched. I gripped Noah's balled-up t-shirt until the seams whined. He laid hands on you? Eli's laugh was small and crooked. He shoved me into the brick when I tried to leave. Said accidents happen when boys don't listen. I felt something old and iron rise inside me. The part that shows up when a kid is bleeding and the nearest adult is the one who made it happen. You're both adults, I said, making sure he heard the fact. Noah's 19. You're 20. This isn't shame. It's yours. Mark doesn't get to rewrite consent into a scandal. He stared at the floor. He said he knows where my mom works. He knows the hours. He knows the bus route. He said I don't understand the kinds of men he knows. Cold slid into my veins. I took his cracked phone, scrolling through the thread. Mark's number, unflinching sentences, timestamps stacked like shell casings. Keep the boy in line. Make it public so he won't come back. You're smart enough to pick the painless route. Painless. My vision pricked with heat. Okay, I said, voice steadying because one of us had to. We document everything. Photos of your lip. Screenshots. We forward them to an email Mark doesn't know. We tell Noah, carefully and in person. And you don't answer him alone again. He wants you isolated. Eli's eyes flicked to mine, brimming with a hope he didn't trust. You'll help us. I'm his parent, I said. That still means something in this house. My phone buzzed on the bed. Mark. Still up? Thought the movie ran late. I stared at the message, at the casual comma he used when he wanted information. I typed, laundry. You? A bruise of 3 dots appeared, vanished, returned. Meeting over. 10 out. Kiss Noah goodnight for me. I swallowed the bitter laugh. He's coming home, I whispered. Eli wiped his mouth with the back of his hand. Should I go? If you run now, he wins the story. I glanced at the closed door, the black square of the hallway beyond. Somewhere downstairs the heater clicked. The dog let out a questioning huff. We don't give him empty rooms to lie into. Sit tight. When Noah gets back, we pull him into the kitchen, we put the truth on the table, and we keep our voices low while we make a plan. A soft chime from the entryway app cut me in half. Backdoor sensor. Open. I hadn't touched a lock. Eli's head jerked up. Another buzz. Garage. Motion detected. The icon pulsed, then steadied. A key slid into the downstairs door, slow as a thread, and turned with a pleased little click. The metallic click echoed through the house, like a countdown. Eli's eyes went wide. I pressed a finger to my lips, forcing calm I didn't own. The heater hummed, and the dog's nails ticked across the kitchen floor before going silent. Every sound felt like it had been magnified into a confession. I leaned close to Eli. Bathroom. Now. Lock the door. Don't come out unless it's Noah or me. My whisper carried a steel edge. He hesitated, but I pushed him toward the hall until his sneakers slid soundlessly on the carpet. The bathroom door clicked shut, lock sliding home. Downstairs, the rhythm of shoes shifted from garage concrete to the wood of the hallway. Slow. Heavy. Mark's gait when he wanted to be heard. The phone in my pocket buzzed again. Hope you're still awake. I forced my breath even and stepped into the doorway of Noah's room. Basket of laundry lifted back into my arms like a shield. Mark's shadow stretched up the stairs before he appeared. Tie loosened, jacket slung over his shoulder, eyes scanning too much, too quickly. You're up late, he said, voice warm, practiced. Where's Noah? Movie's still running. I kept my tone flat, bored. Thought you knew. He tilted his head, smirk cutting through the act. Kids these days. Always lying about where they are. His gaze slid past me, grazing the closed bathroom door before returning. The silence that followed prickled across my skin. Strange, he murmured, climbing the last step. I could have sworn I heard voices when I came in. The urge to slam the door in his face nearly consumed me, but I shifted the laundry basket higher instead. Maybe the TV downstairs. You always leave it on. He leaned close enough that cedar cologne and whiskey heat filled my nose. Maybe. His smile didn't reach his eyes. You look tense. Everything all right? Behind the bathroom door, the faintest creak of movement betrayed Eli's weight shifting on the tiles. Mark's head turned, ears sharp. My chest seized. I dropped the basket deliberately, clothes scattering across the floor. Damn it, I snapped, crouching fast. This is what happens when I try to multitask. For a beat, his stare lingered on the bathroom door. Then his lips curved. Careful, he said softly. Wouldn't want anyone getting hurt over a stupid mess. He bent down, scooped a shirt from the floor, and placed it in my shaking hands. His voice dropped to a whisper only I could hear. We'll talk tomorrow. Privately. Then, as if nothing had curdled in the air, he straightened, kissed my temple, and walked toward our bedroom. The door clicked shut behind him. Silence flooded back, but it was the kind that screamed. From the bathroom, Eli's muffled voice shook the dark. What happens when tomorrow comes? His question clung to the silence like smoke. What happens when tomorrow comes? I eased the bathroom door open, motioning Eli out. His face was pale, his lips swollen, eyes darting to the closed bedroom door down the hall. The faint sound of Mark's dresser drawer opening reached us, metal sliding on wood. He was changing, moving through his nightly routine like the monster under the bed had folded itself back into human skin. "We don't wait for tomorrow," I whispered. "We move tonight." Eli shook his head. "Move where?" He said he has people. Let me worry about him. The resolve in my voice surprised me, but the truth was I couldn't let the boy see my fear. Not when he already carried too much. We padded to Noah's room. I shut the door softly behind us, the blue glow of the monitor throwing eerie shadows. I grabbed Eli's cracked phone, scrolling through the messages again. The words stared back like sharpened teeth. "Keep him quiet. Make it public. 2 ways it ends. Screenshots. Photos." I forwarded everything to my private cloud, the one Mark didn't know existed, then to a new email account created in seconds. Insurance. Eli sat on the edge of the bed, rubbing his temples. "Noah doesn't know. He'll hate me for keeping it from him." "He won't," I said firmly, though doubt clawed at me. Noah had always worshipped his father, blind to the cracks. What would he do when he learned his dad was threatening the boy he loved? A floorboard creaked in the hallway. Both of us froze. Mark's shadow stretched beneath the doorframe, still, listening. The seconds dragged. Then came 3 deliberate knocks. "You awake?" His voice carried that easy warmth again. But now I heard the steel threaded underneath. I could use a goodnight kiss. Eli's hand clamped around mine, cold and shaking. My heart hammered so hard it hurt. I forced my voice steady, louder than I felt. "I'll be right there." The shadow lingered another second, then drifted away. I turned to Eli, whispering so softly it barely existed. "Tomorrow isn't going to break us, but it might break him." Eli's eyes flicked to the door, then back to me. "So what do we do?" The answer came out before fear could censor it. "We gather proof, and then we burn his lies down." From our bedroom, a sudden thud shook the wall, Mark slamming something heavy into the dresser. His voice, low and venomous, leaked into the hallway. "She's hiding something. I can feel it." And then, silence. I didn't sleep. Not even a minute. I lay in Noah's unmade bed, eyes pinned to the ceiling, every creak of the house ricocheting through my chest. Eli dozed fitfully in the desk chair, arms crossed tight, like he was afraid to let himself fall all the way under. Somewhere down the hall, Mark's snore rumbled, a predator's growl disguised as rest. At 5:12 a.m., before the first light cut the blinds, I slipped into the hallway. The carpet muffled my steps, but my pulse thundered loud enough I was sure it would wake him. I stopped outside our bedroom. The door was cracked. His outline lay in the bed, one arm flung across the sheets where I should have been. I moved to the dresser. The top drawer slid open with a sigh, and there it was, his second phone. Sleek, newer than mine, face down like every secret it carried. My breath caught. I didn't have much time. I tapped the screen awake. No password. Of course. Arrogance made him careless. Notifications bloomed, texts, missed calls, encrypted apps with names I didn't recognize. I opened one thread. My stomach knotted. Messages from Daniel, Clara's husband, time-stamped from last night. "She's suspicious. You sure the kid will play along? End it before it spreads." I snapped photos with my own phone, hands trembling so badly the images blurred. Tried again. Perfect this time. Dozens of screenshots. Dates, names, threats. Enough rope to hang him 10 times over. Behind me, bedsheets rustled. My body froze, blood roaring in my ears. Mark mumbled, turned, and went still again. I slid the drawer shut, soft as breath, and stepped back into the hall. Eli was awake when I slipped into Noah's room, his eyes red-rimmed and wary. I handed him my phone with the fresh evidence. His mouth opened, closed. This is everything." I nodded, my throat tight. "But we need more. He'll say they're fake. He'll say I doctored them. We need witnesses, recordings, anything that ties him directly to the threats." Eli swallowed hard, then whispered, "What about Noah? He needs to know." I stared at my stepson's empty bed, the indentation of a boy who still believed his father was unbreakable. My chest ached. "Yes," I said finally. "But not yet. Not until we can show him the whole truth. Otherwise Mark will twist it, and Noah will hate me for tearing down his hero." Eli's lip trembled, but he nodded. His fingers brushed mine as he handed the phone back. "Then what's next?" The answer rose sharp and cold, surprising even me. We set a trap. From the hallway, floorboards creaked. Not random this time. A measured step, deliberate, pausing outside Noah's door. And then Mark's voice, low and smooth, slid through the wood like smoke. "Who are you talking to in there?" My heart jolted so hard it hurt. Mark's shadow broke the line of light under the door. His hand rattled the knob once, testing, but didn't turn it. Eli's eyes locked on mine, wide, terrified. I pressed a finger to my lips and forced my voice steady, projecting just enough to carry. "I'm folding Noah's laundry. Go back to bed, Mark." A pause, then his low chuckle. "Strange. Sounded like you were having a conversation." My stomach clenched, talking to myself. Some of us clean to stay sane. Another pause. The silence stretched, heavy. Finally, his footsteps retreated, slow, deliberate. Then the creak of our bedroom door opening, closing. I released the breath I'd been holding, my body trembling. Eli whispered, "He knows." "Yes," I said. "But now we know more." I pulled my phone out again and opened the voice memo app. From now on, we record everything. No whispers. No threats. Every word he drops will be his own noose. Eli rubbed his hands over his face. "What if he corners me again? What if he—" He trailed off, unable to finish. I leaned forward, my voice low and fierce. "Then you stall. You keep him talking. You get it on tape. We'll make sure he never lays another hand on you, or Noah, again." The morning came in fits of gray light through the blinds. By the time Noah's car pulled into the driveway, my nerves were electric wire, buzzing. I hurried downstairs, meeting him at the door before Mark could. "Hey, Mom." Noah yawned, dropping his hoodie on a chair. His smile was tired, innocent, unguarded. It stabbed me to know how fragile that smile was, how close it was to being crushed. Mark emerged from the kitchen, fresh shirt, tie knotted sharp, mask perfectly in place. "There's my champ," he said, clapping Noah on the back. "Sleep well." I forced myself to watch closely. Mark's eyes flicked to me, then briefly toward the staircase, where Eli still hid upstairs. Just for a second. Subtle, but I saw it. Noah didn't. Big day ahead. Mark continued smoothly, picking up his keys. "Dinner tonight, just the three of us. I think it's time we had a family conversation." I met his stare, every nerve on fire. His smile widened, practiced and poisonous. The sound of Eli shifting on the staircase broke the moment. Noah turned, surprised, as Eli appeared in the hallway. His lips split, his eyes ringed in exhaustion. Noah's brow furrowed. "Eli, what happened to you?" Mark's smile froze, then thinned into something sharper. And in that instant, I knew the family dinner wasn't going to be a meal. It was going to be a battlefield. The word battlefield pulsed in my head all day. Mark carried himself like a man who already knew the outcome. His voice too smooth, his smiles too wide. Noah, oblivious, teased Eli about his lip, assuming it was basketball or clumsiness. Eli lied and laughed it off, but I caught the twitch in his jaw each time Mark's gaze pinned him. By noon, I couldn't breathe in that house. I went to the grocery store under the pretense of buying ingredients for the family dinner. In reality, I sat in the parking lot with my phone, hands trembling, replaying the threats I'd recorded, rereading the screenshots I'd saved. My chest burned with a mix of terror and defiance. Mark wasn't just manipulating. He was preparing. Every movement, every word of his was bait, designed to corner us tonight. When I returned home, the house felt staged, like a theater set. The table had been cleared, candles waiting, wine glasses polished. Mark didn't cook. He'd ordered in expensive steak and sides arranged on platters. Overcompensation, meant to look like generosity, but tasting like control. Noah bounded into the kitchen, excited, asking if we were celebrating something. Mark clapped him on the shoulder. "Just family," he said. His eyes flicked to me. "Only family." The air thinned. Eli stood stiff at the edge of the kitchen, uncertain, half invisible. Noah beckoned him closer, but Mark's smile hardened. "Eli, son, this is family time. You'll understand if tonight it's just us." The words were casual, but the dismissal was a knife. Eli froze, then looked at me, betrayal and fear colliding in his eyes. Noah noticed. "Dad, what's your deal? He's always here. He is family." Mark's jaw flexed. He hit it quickly, laughing as though Noah's protest were a joke. Of course, of course. Sit, everyone sit." But I heard it. That slip. The warning in his tone. Eli wasn't meant to be here. Dinner began like a performance. Small talk. Noah filling the silence with stories from class. Mark nodding like a proud father. I forced myself to eat, though every bite tasted like dust. Eli barely touched his plate. Then, midway through the meal, Mark set down his fork and folded his hands. His smile was cold. I think it's time we talk about honesty. The fork slipped from Eli's fingers, clattering loud against the plate. Noah frowned. Honesty? About what? Mark's gaze cut to me, then to Eli. His voice dropped, steady, dangerous. About secrets in this house. About loyalty. About who we can trust. Noah's confusion deepened, his eyes bouncing between us. What are you talking about, Dad? Mark leaned back, savoring the moment. Why don't we let Eli explain? He seems to have been hiding the most. Eli's face drained of color. His hand found mine under the table, shaking. And before I could stop him, Mark pulled his phone from his pocket, thumb hovering over the screen. Let's show Noah the messages, shall we? Mark held his phone like it was a loaded weapon. His thumb hovered above the gallery app, and the glint in his eyes told me he had rehearsed this ambush down to the second. Noah set his fork down slowly. What messages? Eli's grip on my hand tightened, knuckles white. His lips parted, but no words came. I could feel the pulse hammering through his skin, frantic and terrified. Mark's smile widened. Go on, Eli. You've got nothing to hide, right? Or should I help refresh everyone's memory? He tapped the phone once, and the screen lit up with screenshots, threads, photos, words pulled out of context. They painted Eli as a liar, a manipulator, someone who had dragged Noah into secrets too heavy for any of us. My stomach twisted. He had doctored them. The fonts were wrong in places, timestamps off, but to Noah's untrained eye, it looked damning. Dad, Noah said slowly, his brows furrowing. Where did you even get this? From him. Mark said smoothly, gesturing to Eli. From his cracked little phone. He's been hiding things, playing both sides. I told you honesty was overdue. Eli shot up from his chair, his voice shaking. That's not true. I never wrote those. He's twisting everything. Sit down. Mark snapped, his tone slicing through the air. I stood too, my chair scraping loud against the hardwood. No. You sit down, Mark. My voice surprised even me, sharp, unyielding. The room froze. Noah blinked, staring at me like I'd grown another head. Mom. I grabbed Eli's real phone off the counter, unlocked it, and slid it across the table. Here. Every message. Every thread. If your father's telling the truth, then it'll match. But if it doesn't, I let the words hang heavy in the air. Mark's jaw clenched. His smirk faltered just for a second. Noah's eyes darted between us, suspicion flickering. Why are you both acting like I'm the jury here? What the hell is going on? Eli's voice cracked. Because your dad threatened me. Because he said he'd ruin us if I didn't walk away from you. The words landed like a hammer. Noah's mouth opened, then closed, his face paling. He turned to Mark. Tell me he's lying. Mark leaned back, calm mask slipping into a predator's grin. The boy doesn't know what he's saying. And your stepmother. His eyes burned into me. She's been feeding him lines. Trying to turn you against me. It was the perfect trap. Pit me against Eli. Twist Noah into doubting both of us. But Noah's voice trembled as he whispered. Dad? Why does it feel like you're scared? Mark's smile finally cracked. His thumb moved on his phone, too fast. A message was already sending. Because, he said softly, almost to himself, they're watching us right now. The message sent with a ping, and immediately the phone on the counter, Eli's cracked one, buzzed. All of us turned at once. A new text glowed across the fractured screen. Confirm. We see them. Move if needed. The words hit me like a blast of cold water. Someone else was in on this. Someone close enough to be watching. My skin prickled, and my eyes darted to the kitchen window. Across the street, in the so-called empty house, a single lamp burned steady, too steady, as if it had been waiting for this exact moment. Noah stood up so fast his chair toppled. What the hell is this, Dad? Who are you texting? Mark didn't flinch. He closed the fake screenshots with a swipe and folded his hands like a man already calculating the jury's decision. You don't understand. I've kept this family safe for years. You think the mortgage paid itself? You think Eli's little romance with you wouldn't have consequences? Stop. I snapped, stepping between him and the boys. This isn't protection. This is control. Threats. Lies. Eli's chest heaved. He told me to hurt Noah, or he'd hurt my mom. Noah's face drained. Dad, Mark's jaw twitched. He didn't deny it. Sometimes choices have to be made. Noah staggered back like he'd been struck. You threatened him? You threatened me? Mark's mask slipped entirely then, rage bubbling under his words. You don't know these men. They'll burn everything if I don't give them what they want. And right now what they want. He glanced at Eli. Then me, his lips curling, is silence. I grabbed my phone, fumbling to open the voice recorder, but Mark's eyes caught the movement. His hand shot out across the table, slamming it down hard enough to rattle the plates. Turn that off. No, I said, my voice steady though my hands shook. Every word you say now lives forever. Outside, gravel crunched under tires. Headlights flared across the blinds, cutting white lines across Mark's face. He went still. Too still. Eli whispered, They're here. The front door rattled once. Then 3 sharp knocks, the same rhythm I'd heard in nightmares since that night. Deliberate, patient, inescapable. And a voice followed, low and commanding through the wood. Mark, time's up. Open the door. The knocks reverberated through the walls, sharp and final. My breath caught. Mark's fingers twitched against the table like he was calculating odds on invisible dice. Noah stood frozen, fists clenched, eyes flicking between his father and the door. Eli whispered, Don't open it, but his voice barely carried. Mark rose slowly, his chair scraping back. His smile returned, brittle but rehearsed. Stay here. I'll handle it. I stepped in front of him. Handle it? You invited them. His eyes darkened. You think you understand? If I don't answer, they'll come in anyway. At least this way, maybe I control the narrative. Control? My voice shook with fury. You've already lost it. The knocks came again, louder this time. The dog barked from the basement, frantic. Noah moved to the kitchen drawer, yanked it open, and grabbed the old baseball bat he kept from Little League. His hands shook, but his stance was solid. If they come in, they're not touching Eli. Or Mom. Mark's laugh was bitter. You really think a bat will stop them? These aren't kids sneaking beer, son. These are men who don't blink before breaking kneecaps. Then why did you ever bring them here? Noah shot back, his voice cracking. The silence that followed was thick, suffocating. Finally, Mark said, low and raw. Because I was desperate. Because I thought I could manage it. And because I didn't think I'd ever get caught. The door shuttered under another pounding knock. Then a voice, harsher this time. Last chance, Mark. Open it, or we open it for you. Eli's phone buzzed again on the counter. A new message lit the fractured glass. Family inside. Make your choice. Midnight means midnight. I grabbed it, my heart racing, and thrust the screen toward Noah. See? This is what he's dragged us into. Noah turned on his father, eyes blazing. You put us in their crosshairs. Mark's face broke then, mask slipping to desperation. If you'd just let me finish this deal, none of you would have known. They only want the phone. The proof. Give it up, and they'll leave. Eli shook his head violently. That's a lie. They'll never stop. They'll want more. The front door rattled again, this time not with a knock, but with the metallic scrape of tools. They were picking the lock. Mark's voice dropped to a whisper meant only for me. If they find that phone, they'll kill us all. And then, with a groan of hinges, the door began to open. The front door creaked inward, slow as a heartbeat breaking. Cold night air slid through the gap, carrying the crunch of boots on gravel. Noah raised the bat higher, his knuckles white, but his eyes betrayed the terror rippling through him. Eli pressed himself against the wall, breath coming shallow and sharp. Mark moved first. He strode toward the entryway with his hands lifted halfway, a parody of calm. I've got it under control, he muttered over his shoulder, but his voice trembled, betraying the truth. 2 men stepped inside. One broad-shouldered, his face bisected by a scar over his eyebrow. Scar, I realized. The other thinner, wiry, eyes sharp like broken glass. They didn't knock anymore. They didn't ask. They simply arrived. Scar's gaze swept the room, lingering on Noah's bat, on Eli's swollen lip, on me. He smirked. Quite the family portrait. Mark forced a laugh. You said midnight. It's not midnight yet. The lean one sneered. When you stop answering, the clock moves faster. He pulled the door shut behind them with a soft click that sounded more final than a slam. Noah stepped forward, bat steady despite the tremor in his arms. You need to leave. Scar chuckled. deep and humorless. Cute. Protecting your little friend? His eyes flicked to Eli. We already warned him. Guess he didn't listen. Eli flinched, and the sound gutted me. Mark tried again, desperation leaking through his practiced charm. They don't know anything. Just take the phone, and we're done. I stiffened. The phone. He'd just told them exactly what mattered. Scar's eyes lit with interest. Phone, huh? He turned his gaze on me. Where is it? I said nothing, clutching the device tighter in my pocket. The lean one took a step closer, smile thin as wire. We can do this easy, or we can do this loud. Easy means nobody bleeds. Loud means, he let the words dangle, heavy and unmistakable. Noah raised the bat higher, voice breaking but defiant. You'll have to go through me. Scar grinned. That can be arranged. Mark's voice cracked like glass. Stop. Don't touch him. Don't touch any of them. This is between me and you. But it wasn't. I knew it wasn't. Because Scar's eyes hadn't left me since he walked in. And when he finally spoke, his words sank into my bones. Wrong. It's between her and us now. The words landed like a blade pressed to my throat. Scar's eyes locked on me, sharp and deliberate. The lean one grinned, sensing the shift in the air. Mark stumbled forward, hands raised. No, she's not part of this. Scar didn't even glance at him. She's the only part that matters now. You're sloppy, desperate. But she's the one who's been recording, saving, forwarding. We've seen the files moving. My stomach dropped. They knew. They'd been watching closer than I realized. The lean one pulled a phone from his jacket and turned it toward me. My private email inbox glowed on the screen. The screenshots I'd forwarded. The backups I thought were hidden. Clouds leak when you know the right locks to pick, he said, smug. Mark whirled on me, face twisted with rage. You stupid. Don't. I snapped, my voice slicing the air. Fear rattled through me, but anger steadied my spine. Don't you dare blame me. You built this coffin. We're all just inside it with you. Scar's smirk widened. I like her. Fire, even under pressure. His eyes darkened. But fire gets snuffed if it spreads. Noah's voice cracked as he stepped closer, bat trembling in his grip. Stay away from her. Scar chuckled, tilting his head. Son, you think that piece of wood makes you a soldier? Put it down before someone takes it from you. For a heartbeat, silence. Then Eli spoke, voice raw. You want her? You'll have to go through me first. He stepped forward, shoulders squared, though his hands shook. I grabbed his wrist, whispering, no, don't. But it was too late. The lean one's smirk sharpened, predatory. Scar finally turned to Mark. You had 48 hours. It's done. Unless, he let the word drag out, savoring it. She hands us the phone now. Everything she has. Right here. Mark's face twisted with something unhinged. Give it to them, he barked at me. Do you want them to kill us? My pulse thundered. The phone in my pocket felt like a live wire, humming against my skin. Give it up, and maybe they'd leave. Maybe. But without proof, without leverage, we'd be defenseless. I straightened, meeting Scar's stare. If I give this to you, what guarantee do we have that you don't silence us after? Scar's grin showed teeth. Guarantee? Sweetheart, the only guarantee is that if you don't, I paint this floor with regret. The lean one pulled something from his jacket. Not a phone this time. A pistol, black and heavy, aimed steady at the center of my chest. Noah shouted, no, and swung the bat. And in that second, everything shattered. The bat cracked against the lean man's wrist with a sound that split the air. The pistol clattered across the hardwood, skidding under the dining table. For one suspended heartbeat, nobody moved. Then chaos erupted. Scar lunged at Noah, a blur of muscle and rage. I grabbed a chair and shoved it into his path, the legs scraping loud against the floor. He stumbled, just long enough for Noah to swing again, his face pale but burning with defiance. Eli dove for the pistol. His fingers brushed the grip just as the lean man kicked him hard in the ribs, sending him sprawling. Eli coughed, gasping, but his hand clamped tighter. I've got it. Mark didn't help. He didn't protect his son. Instead, he scrambled towards Scar, shouting, Don't hurt him. Take me instead. Just get the damn phone. His words cut deeper than the violence. Noah's face twisted, betrayal sharper than fear. You'd sacrifice us to save yourself? Scar wrenched the bat from Noah's hands and hurled it across the room. His fist cocked back, ready to strike, but I threw myself between them. The blow landed on my shoulder, fire shooting through bone. but Noah stayed standing behind me. Eli's voice cracked through the chaos. Back off. I'll shoot. He was on his knees, both hands gripping the pistol, barrel shaking but aimed dead at Scar. The lean man froze, clutching his injured wrist, fury etched across his face. Scar's eyes narrowed, calculating. You won't, Scar said evenly. Kids like you never do. Eli's breath hitched, but his hands steadied, just slightly. Try me. Mark raised his palms, sweat glistening on his forehead. Don't point that at them. You'll make it worse. No. I snapped, my voice raw. The only one who made this worse is you. Scar's lip curled. His gaze flicked to me, then to the bulge of my phone in my pocket. He smiled, cold and sure. The proof's still on her. That's all we came for. The standoff thickened, air heavy with the smell of sweat and fear. Eli's arms trembled. Noah hovered behind me. Mark shook like a man cornered by his own demons. And then headlights swept across the windows. A car pulling up outside. Scar's eyes darkened. More company? Or is this one of yours? The knock that followed wasn't patient or deliberate this time. It was thunderous, shaking the door on its hinges. A voice boomed through the wood, unfamiliar but commanding. Police. Open up. The word police split the room like lightning. For a breath, everyone froze. Scar, the lean man clutching his wrist, Eli still holding the pistol with trembling hands. Noah's mouth hung open, and Mark's face went ashen, like he was watching the last of his cards scatter in the wind. Scar hissed low, his voice sharp. You called them? I shook my head. No. My pulse hammered in my throat. But I should have. Red and blue lights strobed through the blinds, painting stripes of judgment across every guilty face. Another thunderous knock rattled the door. Police. Open up now. Scar cursed under his breath. His partner leaned toward him, whispering through gritted teeth. We can't be here when they come in. Mark lurched forward, hands outstretched. Wait, don't run. If you leave me holding this. Scar turned on him, expression pure contempt. You already lost, Mark. Then he faced me, a cold smirk curling. But this isn't over. Proof or no proof, you're on our radar now. He backed toward the side door, dragging his partner with him. The lean man shot one last glare at Eli, at the pistol shaking in his hands, but didn't push his luck. In seconds, they were gone, swallowed by the dark. The front door splintered open. Flashlights sliced through the house, and uniformed officers poured in, guns drawn. Drop the weapon, one shouted at Eli. No, wait. I stepped in front of him, hands raised. He's with us. He's the victim. Eli's face crumpled. He lowered the pistol carefully, sliding it across the floor. His whole body shook as he whispered, I didn't call them. The nearest officer steadied his aim, then glanced at me. If not you, then who? A voice came from the doorway. Familiar. Fragile. I did. Noah's best friend Clara stood there, her phone still in her hand, her expression pale but resolute. I saw the men through the window. I knew something was wrong. Noah staggered toward her, relief flooding his features. Clara. Mark's voice cut through, desperate, broken. This is all a mistake. They were friends, business partners. This is just a misunderstanding. But the officers had already pulled him to the ground, cuffing him as he shouted protests that no one believed. Noah turned to me then, eyes wide with hurt. Mom, how long have you known? My throat tightened. Long enough to be terrified. Not long enough to stop it sooner. The officers dragged Mark past us, his face twisted in fury. You think this ends with me? He spat, voice hoarse. You've started a war you can't finish. Outside, another car screeched away into the night. Scar and his partner were gone, but not far. And as the red and blue lights painted the walls, I realized, tonight was survival. Tomorrow would be war. The house smelled of sweat, gun oil, and fear. Officers moved through every room, cataloging shattered plates, the toppled bat, Eli's trembling statement. But even with Mark in handcuffs, the air didn't feel lighter. It felt charged, like the storm had only broken a branch while the rest of the tree groaned above us. Noah sat on the couch, his head in his hands. Eli hovered close, nursing his ribs, his lip cracked wider from the scuffle. I wanted to gather them both, shield them like I should have from the start, but I couldn't erase what they'd already seen. An officer crouched in front of me, notebook ready. Ma'am, are you safe tonight? Do you have somewhere to go? I looked around at the wreck of our home, At the bloodstain on the floor from where Scar's fist had caught me, at the lamp outside still glowing across the street like a watchful eye. Safe. The word felt like a fairy tale. We'll leave, I said firmly. We're not sleeping here. They nodded, but the shadow of Scar lingered in every corner. Mark's voice echoed in my skull. You've started a war you can't finish. When they shoved him into the squad car, he twisted once, meeting my gaze through the open door. There was no pleading now, no charm. Only venom. They'll come for you, he promised. For all of you. The door slammed, the car rolled away, and my chest felt both heavier and freer all at once. Later, in the quiet that followed, Noah finally lifted his head. His voice was raw, wrecked. He was my dad, and he would have let them kill us. I sat beside him, wrapping my arm around his shoulders, pulling Eli close on the other side. He was supposed to protect you. He failed. But that doesn't mean we're broken. It means we fight smarter. Together. Eli's hand found mine, grip fragile but real. Scar's still out there, he whispered. I nodded, staring at the lamp across the street. The curtain shifted in that empty house, just enough for me to know we were still being watched. We'll gather every shred of proof, I said. We'll put their names in the light until shadows can't protect them anymore. They wanted silence. I tightened my grip on the boys. But they'll get the truth instead. Noah exhaled, shaky, like he was learning how to breathe in a new world. Eli leaned against me, exhausted. The war hadn't ended. It had only declared itself. And I swore that when it came for us, we'd be ready.